my name is Agnieszka Gaczkowska. Like Aga is enough if it's hard for, pronouncing Polish name. In my past life, I used to be an architect. I am an architect from profession and experience. I owned a studio. But when I gave birth to two of my kids, I decided I want to be also a mom. And it was really hard to be both, like either career or family. And that led me to pivoting professionally. And I started my online business. Imagine, lady architect out of, 6-figure invoices, jumping down to starting from scratch. That was really like hard step for me. But it also gave me this hope that there is this life where you can have both the money, the career, the ambition, but also family life. And I'm married to my hubby for, over 15 years. At that point, we were at this moment of, okay, now we're responsible for two human beings. Like we need to get things sorted. It's about money. Money was never an issue because we earn quite good, like as two professionals. But, approaching 30, we had this moment of checking how we will be set out for retirement. And we started like laugh and cry at the same time. And we were like, oh my gosh, we have to do something because the system that worked for our parents is no longer like able to support us. And that was this breakthrough to decide to take things into our own hands. And that's how we found you. We were actually actively looking for some program to actually educate ourselves around all those concepts like, stock exchange, property investing. And when we jumped into the program, and I'm saying we because it's so funny, but that was like first online program that I invested together with my husband. And I remember jumping to Financial Freedom University. And I've been sharing with him all the material, but you also had this policy to allow him to Facebook group so he could also witness what we're doing there, look for the coaching hours. And I saw how much it changed us as a couple. Like for the first time, we've been able to normalizing some topics that were bringing a lot of emotions around money. We talked to each other about the program and we're like, oh my gosh, we're so lucky we did it because it changed. It's like something that you cannot unsee. It's so easy now to look at other people, how they're making decision and like having the knowledge we have operating from different point, from this like inner peace and like this awareness that we're well informed and we're making decision from this perspective of choice rather than what we're supposed to do. Somebody told us to do this and that. It just gave us this gift when we could calculate how much money we actually live to just survive and how much it is to live on a level that we like want to live, and realizing that we don't need $10 million fancy life in order to be happy. That was so liberating to actually name what is enough for us, what is priceless for us. And I never asked myself those questions. Like you kind of intuitively know, but when somebody puts you, sit down and ask yourself those questions, you just know. Yeah. You had this module about squeezing out the juice, and there are so many ideas. Okay, how can we sell out the old stuff that we don't need? How can we do this and that? And I remember when you taught us this concept of like, no matter how much you have, there is this like constant ratio that there is like 60% for this, 10% for that, 5% for charity or something. And I took that and I was like, okay, let's look at this ratio, how it looks in my business. And I was analyzing like year after year. And I was looking at how much it grew, and you could see this constant growth in the business, but also this constant decline of my salary. And, it was so funny to look at it because I was investing more and more, having more and more spending for employees, but also like paying less and less to myself because I was trapped in this, you have to be bigger. You have to be bigger. And where is this moment where you stop and say, I deserve increase in my salary. So it was so funny that the concepts you teach us, they are actually applicable to business. And, one flat that we had, we rented it out to our students. The one that we lived in was a huge credit, but we kind of lived off it. But we were kind of stuck in that. And once we entered your program, we were able to approach the topic from this perspective. Okay, what do we have? What is actually a liability? What is actually an asset? What's paying off? What's not paying? And, it was just like a quick calculation without emotion. And we quickly realized that, oh no, we don't need this big flat. The sooner we can sell it, the better. And we took that decision. But once we sold it, with a snap of a finger, we were debt free for life. And there were still some left. And we were like, oh my gosh, we just gotten catapulted ourselves to this moment where we actually have money to invest. And that was such a beautiful place to be at, because we did sit down, and first time in our life, we've been like, okay, so we've got this much money. How do we want to, work with that? And with Jacek working as a corporate employee, he has a beautiful credit score, which is awesome, because we never took it as something, it was always like, I do a lot of money in online business. And that was so attractive because it came and we could have a holiday or something. But now we looked at his job and we actually looked at it as opportunity to be this reliable thing for our investment. So we used his credit score and used the money from, this transaction to actually buy our first, investment flat. When I look at my, index trackers, that's over 4,000 euros in that. That's a lot for us because we operate in Polish zloty. So that's ×4 for us. So the real estate, it's really hard for me to calculate out of this head, but I do believe that we're over 300K, in plus. When we calculated, you gave us this calculator for, financial freedom. And we did that at the beginning. And I remember we saw that it's 10 years till this moment where we could actually be free, when we really squeeze ourselves. It's 10 years. And now when we checked with this property, with this flip and all of that, it catapulted us into 2 more years ahead. So we're around 6 or 8 years. I do believe that with our relationship, we had we love each other. We know each other from, we've been a couple in primary school. So we've got a long history of our relationship, but we've been always fighting around money. It was always this point of stressful emotions. Whereas now when we removed this nasty thing that, you talk about money when you have kids, when you're a grown up, it's a part of your life and it kind of creeps into any other. Yeah. So it was always this source of negative emotion. Whereas now it's just a source of maturity, self-awareness, sense of freedom, in the sense that we have always a choice, and that's up to us. How do we model the next step? But it also gave us this confidence as parents, because, we adopted a lot of values from our parents and we're so thankful to them, but they've been operating in a different system. It was a bit different before era of online marketing and online entrepreneurship. There are different principles operating. And we see that now when we want to teach our kids something of value, we cannot repeat the patterns that we inherited. We needed to find ourselves this mechanism of constantly having awareness, what changed, and not only having that, but also, okay, what's the next step? What tools we can give them. And there are some rules that are so universal. So for example, now when we have this calmness around money, we oftentimes talk about money in front of our kids. Now we just sit by the table, by the dinner, by the breakfast or something, and we just have those random money conversations. Should we buy this Lego set or not? And it's not okay, you cannot have it because we can't afford. It's okay, you can sell your previous set. This way you have half of it, and then we add the other half. If you do it, we want to reward you with being entrepreneurial. And there are those things that, make us feel empowered around money, talking to our friends about our choices and kind of putting money topic on a table without those negative emotions. It really changed us. To me, the biggest advice would be first of all, go to the training. You always give it away so generously, the wealth training, the world of wealth. To me, I was mind blown because, I'm in this online business and we're trained that you first you give some value for people to get to know you, what you're about. And then you make an offer to enter a paid program. And I was so blown away how much value you put on the table in this free training. Like you could like basically run away with that and you'll set, right? But let's be honest, nobody is disciplined enough or like doesn't have the like community to like support and hold yourself in it. So to me, like witnessing this first training and actually having like my mind blown away by the concepts, like my world was like totally upside down. And now I got into note like, that's why money is running away from my wallet, right? And then I had this understanding. To me, it was like no brainer that I want to join your program. And Financial Freedom University, to me, it was like this beautiful extension and a container where it's like, it's really hard to fail. Like once you're there, you have this full library of like vast knowledge that is so well organized by you, that it's so easy to like not jump there and like suck in knowledge all the time, but just like have it structured and slowly dripped. But also what was much more even beneficial for me, that once you have this knowledge, you have this community. But there's always something, and you're bringing so much energy and like so much like this belief in the mission you have, that it, even if you get like kind of, lazy and like unmotivated, there's something that will catch you and reignite that fire. And to me, that's this reason. Like when I look at this program, I've been in so many programs, but it's also like it's always like a sprint and then it's like kind of dies down. In your community, it's like this constant fire. And to me, it's like this, also this mastery when it comes to business, that you've created something that is like bigger than just you. It's like you ignited that fire, but it's burning with all the people.